This right here is a 2023 Kia Telluride. Now this is the base model, they call it the LX trim, and I have it on my channel on purpose because a lot of times manufacturers, when they do these base trims, they really don't include any equipment in it whatsoever. They're bare bones. Now what I think about this is the most loaded base trim ever. So today I'm going to take you on a complete tour of this vehicle thanks to Glacial Kia of Bradenton, Florida, and we're going to explore it from the exterior, interior, electronics, test drive, the whole 9 yards. But before we do that, guys, if this is the first time we meet, my name is Matt here on Matt the Car Guy. Post 2 car reviews every single week. If that's something that interests you, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, and if you watch this video and liked it, don't forget to give me a like. So no matter which Telluride you choose, you still get the same shape, the same basic sheet metal, all the panels are exactly the same. Now the differences are going to be a few here in the front. We're going to get to it, but let's take a look at the overall design. So you have this nice flat hood over here, 2 grooves on each side, creating this more aerodynamic look, but also makes it more masculine with this hood being pretty much flat. Now if you look at the grille, that's where the differences come in. You'll see different grille on the EX, you see different grille on the SX and the X Pro lines. So that's where you can tell them apart. This is kind of this base grille in matte black. You have this big Kia logo right over here, and this grille is also wrapped in the polished aluminum trim. Now if you look down here, you see a lot of matte black polished aluminum as well. Air curtains on the side, and what's really nice about it, that even on the base trim LX you get the fully LED lights. Now a lot of people were complaining on the previous generation that the lights weren't bright enough. Well, guess what, these are super bright, so hopefully that fixes the problem. Also, the engine is the same as you get on the higher trim levels, so let's check it out and let's see what it is. Power plant on all Tellurides remains the same. It is a 3.8 liter V6 naturally aspirated, 291 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Check out this hood compartment right here. I like the hood strut, so even on the cheaper model you get the hood struts, you get the sound insulation, the whole 9 yards, as if you were looking at the higher trim levels. Now as far as the towing capacity, it is capable of towing up to 5,000 pounds, if that's important to you. As I mentioned before, the exterior remains the same no matter which trim level you choose. And I like this color on it. They call it Glacial White Pearl. It really pops, especially in the sun, with a lot of sparkle in here. Now, a couple of features that you might not get on this LX is, for example, the roof rails. They're not standard equipment with this model. You'll get them on the higher end trims. Now, look at the wheel and tire setup. They're a little bit smaller. They're 18-inch wheels on this LX trim, 245 by 60 is the tire size. I actually like the design of these wheels and the color of it. This gunpowder metal-like color looks really sharp with combination with the rest of this vehicle. You also have this matte black cladding that goes around the wheels at the bottom of this vehicle as well. And this polished aluminum looking trim, or the satin chrome trim, kind of breaks it up a little bit. And you have a similar color trim that goes around the windows on this vehicle. And that looks really good in the combination with this piano black pillars. Now, mirror itself, the mirror cap, same color as the rest of the vehicle. You do have a blind spot assist inside. You do have a turn signal. You do have a smart entry system on this base trim level. All you have to do is press the button on it to lock it and unlock it. It also locks automatically when you walk away from this vehicle. A lot of window space in here, so a lot of visibility, but we've checked that out before. Now let's see what we have in the back. Well, here it is. The back of it remains basically unchanged from the higher end trims. There's a couple differences though. Let's get straight to them. The lights are not LEDs. They're incandescent light bulbs inside of it. The shape is the same. The colors are the same, but they're not LEDs. And you don't have the power liftgate. Everything else, you know, with the exception of maybe the design of the bottom bumper, remains pretty much the same. So you still have the gate spoiler, third brake light, exposed wiper, Kia logo Telluride spelled out across the back gate here, rear view camera, and then scrolling down here you don't really have any exposed exhaust. And this bottom portion of the bumper, that's a pretty plain design, kind of matches the front of it. And like I mentioned, the gate is not power, but check this out. All I have to do is press the button and pull it a little bit, let it go, and it opens up by itself. Let's check out the roominess here. So let's see how much room we have. Obviously the same as on the higher trims, and these are literally 2 out of the 3 options that were added at the factory of this car. You have the cargo net, you have the cargo tray, and the third option is carpeted floor mats. We can actually take these out and tell you what I would use one of them. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But behind the third row seat, there's quite a bit of room. There's a little bit than the previous generation Honda Pilots, a little bit more than that, but the new Pilots got more than this in my opinion. Now the seats can be folded down. They're 60-40 split. Let's see what we have underneath here. So there's another storage compartment underneath here. It's pretty deep, nice. There's also access for your spare tire, so for those of you wondering if it has one, it does. And a nice feature about it, you can fold the seats down, creating more room for your cargo. And right here, if you wanted to fold down the middle row seats, you can do that as well. Check this out. Now the seat, the front seat, is pushed back a little bit too far for this to fold flat, but they do fold flat, both of them. And the other thing that if you're looking for roominess, you'll definitely find it in the Telluride, and we'll check that out on the other trim levels. It is pretty comfortable. It does have plenty of headroom. I have about 4 inches, maybe. I'm 6 feet tall. The front seat is adjusted to my regular sitting position, and check this out. I have probably about 3 inches in front of my legs, so no shortage of room here. And I feel fairly comfortable, so the seats are nice and comfortable. They're also adjustable, so you can move them back and forth. So in case you want to compromise and leave some more room for the rear passengers, you can do that as well. See, I can move it to about here, and I will still be fairly comfortable. So as always, we're going to start with the rear door panel. So what do we have here? We have a lot of hard plastic materials. A lot of manufacturers are using that in the rear door panels, and the front door panels actually have the soft plastic. We'll see if that's the case here. You do have this kind of cool looking trim, and then the polished aluminum looking trim at the bottom, and then you have your window controls, door handle, obviously armrest, and then you have a little bit more storage right underneath here. The stereo on this one is branded as Telluride, so it is Kia's own stereo. And then if you go inside, then you can see that the seats are covered in the Syntex material. Although it looks like leather, it's not the real thing. They do feel comfortable, and that they feel pretty sturdy as far as the durability of it. So if you look at the seats, both seats have the seat back pockets. Both seats have the USB Type-C connectivity in the back, which is really nice. The middle console over here have the cup holders for the rear passengers, and right at the bottom you do have the power outlet. So when we're looking at the floor is pretty flat, so there's nothing to complain about here. And scrolling up, that's where you have your vents for your air conditioning, climate control, and this is where you have your electronic climate control settings. So this is a nice feature. Even on the base trim level, you do have the electronic climate control. Now, how do you move the seat forward to get in the third row seat? All you have to do is push this button, and the seat will do the work for you. So I'm going to jump inside and sit in the seat so you can check out how much room I have. So again, I'm 6 feet tall, so this is going to be this point of reference. I can close this seat up. All right, and if I don't move it all the way, I have plenty of room. See, so I'm sitting fairly comfortably in here, but this is how much room I would have with the seats all the way back. So I can squeeze in here, see if that's going to be enough room. Well, I'm touching it, but that's still doable, but I can still have a compromise between this position and this one in order to fit in and be fairly comfortable. And the way you get out is basically the opposite. You push the button on top of the seat, it does the work. You can actually push it a little bit more forward, and this is how much room you have to get out. And as always, let's check out the sound of the closing door. Boom, just like in the higher trim levels, nothing different on this one. Looking at the front door panel, let's see if this is not hard plastic. Yeah, this is a soft injection molding plastic. So you can see this hard plastic in the back, softer in the front. It actually makes it feel a little bit different. This is still hard plastic though. Now you do have the same trim as in the back. Twitter up on front, speaker covered, and you have the window mirror lock controls. This is all power, and you have some more storage in these doors. Now if you look at the seats, now the seats are manual, both driver and passenger, so if you need a power seat you need to go with the higher trim level. They're still nicely contoured and very comfortable. I've driven this vehicle, so let's jump inside and check out what else we have. Take a look at the interior of this base Kia Telluride, and I'm emphasizing base because rarely you'll find a base model with as many features as you'll get on this Kia Telluride LX. So let's check this out. First of all, let's take a look at the styling of it. I like this multi-tier dashboard. It looks pretty cool. It does have the same trim as we've seen on the sides of the doors, and does have this soft trim on top of the dashboard. The vents are kind of connected, making it look really nice. And then you have this full-size glove box, of course, down underneath here. So you have two screens. You have this 12.3-inch screen, and you have this fully digital instrument cluster. And let's start with the steering wheel. So the steering wheel, nice to the touch. It is a leather-wrapped steering wheel, multi-function steering wheel. It is 4 spokes. You can see 4 spokes on here, a little bit different than we've seen on some of the other vehicles, and it's multifunctional. So on the left hand side, what we have is we have the mode button and we have the star button. The star button is customizable as well as the mode button. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Then you have your voice control phone, then you have your volume control, and up and down, which controls different features of the vehicle. On the right hand side you have your menu pages button, again up and down and select, that controls what's going on in the instrument cluster. Then you have your cruise control, and this is your cruise control. So you do have the adaptive cruise control, oh wow, and the lane keep assist on the base trim level. That's a lot of features, guys. Kia logo right here, and let's see what's going on in the instrument cluster. So fully digital. I believe you can change this display into a different one. So let's take a quick look at what we have. So we have different options in the menu here. So we have the compass, we have the tire pressure, drive to display, then you have the lane keep assist. 83 miles left on whatever we have left in the gas tank. On the right hand side you have a tachometer, left hand side you have a speedometer. Displays temperature and displays the odometer. It does also have the speed limit sign reader over there, so this is a nice feature. Let me go in the settings in here and see if I can actually change the setting of the display over here. So we need to go in to setup, vehicle, cluster, theme selection, and we can have, this just changes the colors, but the theme remains the same. So that's basically what we have, theme A, B, or C. So we're going to link it to the drive mode. I'm going to show you of how that's done. But moving on to the infotainment system. So this is a huge deal because a lot of manufacturers will give you that little 9-screen. Even on the new Honda Pilot I just did, I mean, I was disappointed that Honda is the 9-screen. Look how much better the 12.3-inch screen looks like. And they give you free navigation, okay, with the base trim. There's nothing added to it. You get navigation for free. Phone projection. Now you still have to connect the phone for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay with the cable, which I wish that was fixed, but that's, not only the base model, it's all Kias have it. Voice memo, climate, valet mode, quiet mode, that basically turns off the rear speakers, limits the output of the front speakers. Here you can adjust and control the rear climate control. We can adjust the temperature, adjust where the vents are going to be blowing from, or you can turn it off if you'd like to. And let's go back to the home screen. So you have the HD radio data, and we're going to check it out and see what inputs we have. So FM, AM, and Sirius XM. So you have all three of them. Actually, stereo doesn't sound bad at all. I mean, I checked it out. I can't actually demonstrate it to you, and I don't think it has. Let me see if it does have the sounds of nature. It does, so maybe we can demonstrate it for you. So Lively Forest, I'm gonna check out the list of it. Experience the universe. Right, that pretty good cinematic sound. So it's probably not as good as you see on the higher end trims, but it's good enough for me. So setup, then you have your media, Kia Connect notifications, and user manual, which basically gives you a QR code to scan. Now, one more feature to check out in here would be the rear view camera. So let's turn that on, put it in reverse. All right, so it takes up about half of the screen. And it does have the active trajectory lines. Very nice quality, but I wouldn't expect, you know, to have like a 3D or anything like this on the base trim level. So anyways, it is a nice quality camera. It does have the parking sensors in the back, like if you look at this car icon, that's pretty much it. Now scrolling down here, you have a set of hard buttons, and by the way, this is a push button start. And since we're talking about it, let's take a quick look at a key, because the key has changed for 2023 model year, and now it looks like this. So different design. It is feeling a lot lighter than the previous generation, in my opinion. So you do have a Kia logo, you do have the lock, unlock, hold button, and hold for auto start. So you also have the auto start feature. So you get this on the base trim. Oh my goodness, you get a lot of features in here. Anyway, scrolling down here, so you have your volume control, and you have the map, navigation, radio, media, hazard light, seek, track, another button that you can customize, which, by the way, if you hit this button, it's not customized, it's going to open up this screen. And you can basically select of what you want it to do. So if you want it to be quiet mode, display on, off, HD, radio, data, Wi-Fi, hotspot, you can select it to do this. There's a custom button on the steering wheel that I showed you before. There's different functions that are available to be assigned to that button. Mode button on steering wheel, again, another you can select Bluetooth audio, phone projection, sounds of nature, USB music. So that's more of a media button. And then buttons up and down on the steering wheel, you can change the preset stations or change station frequency. So this actually very good. The Kia gives you the ability to customize features like this. Let's turn on the climate control, and I can have it in auto. So it is an automatic climate control. It does have the rear climate control, which turns up right here. And if I set the temperature, let's say 272, it's going to show up in this screen down here. Again, so set up the temperature. You can set it at auto, or you can set it 1, 2, 3 different speed of the fan. Same thing in the back. Let's go to the rear controls, and I'm going to lower the fan speed there. That's enough. And what we have here is off front, so this is your shortcuts for the front. No heated or ventilated seats on this base trim level, but I wouldn't expect one in the base trim anyway. So you do have the USB Type-C, and no wireless charging. And then you have your regular 12-volt power adapter. Now you have the regular shifter with the manual shift mode. If you move it to the side, you can go up and down and shift your gears yourself if that's what you desire. You do have a 2 cup holders, a little bit of storage in the front. That's where you change your drive modes, and you have Smart, Eco, and Comfort and Sport. Those are your drive modes. Automatic engine on, off button, auto hold, parking sensors, and this is where your emergency parking brake is. You have lots more storage right underneath here, and this is nicely covered with the Syntex material. Really good, nice, comfortable. Scrolling up on top, nothing crazy about the mirror. There's no home link or anything, no digital mirror here. And then up in this console, you do have the incandescent light bulbs inside of this vehicle. Kia Connect, and then you have your emergency SOS kind of call. You do have your sunglass holder, no moonroof, no sunroof on this base trim level, but you do have illuminated mirrors, so you have the illumination up on top. And that goes for driver and passenger. Well, this was cool. Let's take it for a spin. We'll take it for a spin, but before we do that, let's go over what we have on this sticker right here. So as you can see, this is a 2023 Telluride LX front-wheel drive. Starting MSRP, what do we have? $35,690. Now we have the floor mats, cargo net, collar, and the cargo tray, and that brings the total MSRP to $37,895. Right? Another thing to mention, 23 is the average miles per gallon, 20 in the city, 26 on the expressway. Not bad for the vehicle its size. Actually, I gotta tell you, I'm very impressed with the amount of features that you get standard for this vehicle. Now this one starts at about $36,000, the top of the line, which is SX Pro. Starts with $52,000, so you see almost $20,000 more. Yes, you'll get a lot more features. You'll get the panoramic sunroof, you get the digital key, you get a little bit different lights in the front, and tons more amenities on the interior. But if you are not looking for all of these bells and whistles, I think this one has plenty to offer for the base trim level. So let's take it for a spin. Let's see how it turns. Turn the wheel all the way to the left. Well, I gotta move the seat a little bit up. Here you go. And let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 parking spaces. And we're back in the same one. So yeah, about 4.5 parking spaces. That's how long it takes this vehicle to make a full circle, turn it around. It feels good. Visibility is great. We've checked it out before, but let's see a little bit of the agility right here, turning the steering wheel back and forth. Yeah, well, it's pretty good. It's not rolling or anything like this. It's actually pretty stiff. I like the sound of the engine. Naturally aspirated, V6, 3.8, so fairly large displacement. It's been a couple months since I've done a Kia Telluride, and it's always good to remind yourself while, comparing other vehicles. So since that time, I've done the brand new Honda Pilot and the Toyota Highlander, and different vehicles. And I'm not trying to take away anything from these brands, but I think they need to go to school as far as how to equip their base model vehicles. And all of them are nice cars, there's no question about it, and every brings a little bit to the table. All right, the vehicle is parked, and let's go. Oh, it's got some torque to the front wheels, definitely. 40, 50, 60, and let's hear the brakes. Boom, hit him. All right, so acceleration and braking, there's definitely no issue. And I gotta tell you, it feels good. It feels heavy, it feels solid. That's what I like about this vehicle. Now, if it was me, I would probably opt in for an all-wheel drive. Well, I just like the way that the vehicle sits on the road, that the way it drives. But there's nothing wrong. Like here in Florida, you really don't need the all-wheel drive system. It would be my personal preference. What also is important to mention that Kia still has your 10 years, 100,000 mile warranty on the powertrain. So definitely, if you are concerned that something might break, it's covered. Now, the full warranty on the Kia has a full disclaimer, so you have the 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty that basically covers everything, and then you have the 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty that covers the powertrain. So there's two different warranties, not to be confused. So Kia Telluride, definitely one of the best-selling SUVs on the market, and even with the base model, you get a ton of features. I like it. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy watching videos like this, go ahead, check out the rest of my channel. If you like automotive content, don't forget to subscribe, and if you liked this video and you learned something, don't forget to give me a like, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.